So last time we learned how Dave Holland built his business from the ground up from 0 to 50 million through pure grit and hustle. But when long hours caught up and growth stalled, everything had to change. And in this episode of this Blueprint series, we're breaking down what pushed Dave to the next level, the mindset, the systems, the people that turned a busy business into a scalable one. Dave, we're getting real today, from 50 million to 200 million. We're laying it all out there. Welcome back to Lending Leadership, everybody. I'm a mortgage pro today. I'm with Dave Holland and Tom Mills. Great to see you guys, and thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Rachael.
Thanks. Exciting episode today.
Yeah, this is where we get real. This is something that not everyone can say that they've done in their career, and Dave, we're going to break it down. So last time we talked about the grind years, that I think a lot of people are probably in now. But now we're moving to the growth years and framing that conversation, we're just going to dive into that shift, because you were at that ceiling for a long time of 50 million, and then the shift happened.
Yeah, I mean, I'd start off by saying that everyone's in the grind years now. Like these are work years. 2022 to 2025, those were you got to show up and work. It's like you can't coast. The shift for me was coaching, which we'll get into, but you go from LO to kind of like more of like an owner operator for your business to team leader. That's what it is. Because certainly a hard worker, a lot of grit, a lot of dedication. That can only take you to, like last episode, we talked about a ceiling. That ceiling is different for everyone. Mine was around 40, 50 million. But to get to that next level, you need to become a team leader, let go of some control, trust in your team members, and let go. And not everyone can do that. I mean, Tom, Rachael, we've seen people fail over and over again. They just can't let go. Which is hard, because so much work and dedication goes into your business, to your customers, to your realtor partners. It's like letting go of like your child, like fly away from the nest business, fly away. But that's the mindset you have to have, and not everyone can do it, and not everybody wants to do it, which is okay.
I know you mentioned in our, episode one, some of the struggles, failures, working too much, but was there like a moment, an epiphany, something you learned, something you came across, something that happened? Like what made you say, I'm going to start to switch and treat this more, more like a business and a scalable business for me? What made you change?
Well, I mean, everything we were talking about leading up to it, like heartache and pain, and just working too many hours. But I remember sitting. There was a boot camp I went to, like a 2.5 day boot camp in Denver, and I remember sitting there and turning to my sales manager at the time, Stan, at the first break, and I was like floored. And I said, "This is going to change my life, and this is going to change our business." That's when the light bulb went off.
That catalyst moment where you can pinpoint. I like to call those moments the sliding door moments, where you have a choice. You could have gone back and just kept the status quo, kept things the way they were, or you choose to walk through that door. And I'm sure it wasn't easy. And I'm sure a lot of people, they say they want to do that, but have trouble letting go. But that was that sliding door moment for you. I think that
I, li-
obviously changed everything.
I like that sliding door. Yeah, and there's also a
Mhm.
lot of bodies along the way, right? Like I didn't make this change easily, because I was still like wound too tight.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, to
and then
change from a work harder to a work smarter mentality, and
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was still working hard, right? Don't get me wrong, but yeah, definitely work smarter. And it was hard for me to decouple from my business. And people like ask me how I did it. Like, how did you do it? It's like, it didn't happen quickly. It happened over years and years and years, probably from like mid 2018, August of 2018, until I don't want to say I'm detached from my business because I talked to two customers yesterday because my team was just overwhelmed. Probably took me to, I went to Hawaii for 3 weeks in 2022, and I just couldn't work as much as I wanted to. It probably took me till then. So it took me a solid 5 years for me to get there.
Hmm. So when you were there, you focused more, a little bit less on the activity because you were doing the activity, the sales activity. You focused more on your role within the whole process, and that's when you started building your team, right?
What, in 2018? Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I had one assistant, and then in 2019, I hired two more because if you remember, like July, August of 2019, rates dropped a lot,
Yeah, 19
right?
was a great year.
No, second half of 19 was a good year. The
Yeah,
first half of 19 was like doom and
depressing.
gloom, like the
Yeah.
world is ending, rolling off 2018. So that's when I started scaling my team. And then, I had the pieces in place, right? I had the mindset in place, and I'm glad I did because I fully capitalized off of 20 and 21. I was
Hmm.
able to I know we all talk about numbers, and I say this humbly because it just wasn't me. In 20 and 21, you could walk into a grocery store, throw an orange, and hit someone who needed the refinance, right?
Yeah,
It was easy. It was like manna from heaven, loans just falling from the sky. But if I didn't have the core team in place and the mindset,
you weren't
I
catching.
wouldn't. What's that?
You weren't catching them. Yeah.
I wasn't even I often say, and I'm not exaggerating, if I knew what I know now and I had the correct team in place, no bullshit, I could have closed $300 million in 2021. There was still some stuff that I couldn't keep up with. And I had longtime customers who were upset with me because I'm like, I need a couple days to get back to you.
Hmm.
I just couldn't. And I was working, we all, Tom, some days we're working 14 or 16 hours.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. Um, but not everyone, I lost my train of thought, but not everyone has that mindset to let go like that, nor do they want to, which is
Yeah.
okay.
Well, I was gonna ask that, what comes first, the team or the mindset?
Mindset. I mean, some people don't even want our, some people within our organization, and we're fully embracing it as company leadership. They don't even want their processors reaching out to their customers or calling their customers, which to me is crazy. If you have a handoff, a correct handoff, most customers do not care if they're working with me. Maybe once in a while I get doctor, lawyer, Indian chief, a certain age of a male who's a little more chauvinistic that only wants to talk to me, right? But generally, if you treat people well, get back to them quickly, show them that you care, they could be talking to my 13-year-old daughter if she knows what she's doing,
Like
right?
like we say all the time, you're not that important. You're really not that important.
And I'm not that good. Like, sometimes, like, I'm like, when I was doing it all myself, I was too busy to really understand the whole picture, or I'd be rushing people off the phone, right?
Yeah.
Because I couldn't get to a cost sheet or a pre-approval for like hours and hours and hours, and something was on fire, or I would completely forget, right? Because I have like 17 to-do lists going on.
Yeah.
It was too much. It
Yeah.
was too much.
So, let's talk of that and that 2018 to 2019 kind of building it, time period. Let's forget the madness of 2020 to 2022 because you probably did nothing but form some bad habits then. And like you said, if you knew what you knew today, you would have done more. Um, so that period of that first assistant and that person coming in, walk through that a little bit, kind of step by step, how you put some things in place.
So the first thing put in place, I think it was like early 2019. I changed my number that I had for 20 plus years. I got maybe it wasn't 20, 15 years, whatever, doesn't matter. I got rid of my phone and got a new phone number. Um, and now probably everyone, too many people have it, but most customers do not call me on that number. The
Hmm.
majority of my customers call me on my team line, or my office line, or hit the team email address. Um, so that was step one. That was painful because it was down for, I don't know, 4, 6 hours, and you would
Mhm.
have thought my world ended, right?
Yeah.
Because I, like, missed a couple calls, and I'm like, "Oh." I remember one of my agents, she'll never listen to this, and I still love her, I still work with her, Lynn Bingham, like, I missed, like, a call from her, and it was, like, devastating to me. I'm like, "She's gonna drop me." Like, listen, if any of your realtor partners drop you because 'cause you're switching phone lines and it's down for 2 hours, you probably don't have a very strong relationship to begin with. It's probably a pretty tenuous relationship.
Yeah.
Um,
But you know
so
what's funny with that? To that point, so many of our loan officers have not done that, and they have such fear and anxiety about switching the phone number. But
Yeah.
I think the ones who have made the switch, it is that sigh of relief that you get a little bit of your life back, and you can compartmentalize and have the
yeah,
team take over. So that's a big step.
Let's
yeah,
talk a little bit about that team because I know that's a big change for people, and it's a big change towards like freedom in your life, number one. And it's when you can really stop missing calls because the call routing abilities and things like that. So step back, talk a little bit about that, how you set it up, your hours of availability, how you made sure you didn't miss calls, how that made you more money and gave you freedom.
yeah. I mean, if you look at something we do, and we got taught by the Freedom Club, it's called the Acts of Freedom, right? So the Acts of Freedom, you write down, like, you get a list of, like, everything loan officers do. If that's like run AUS, do cost sheets, call homeowners insurance agents back, call customers back, call realtors back, name it. There's like a million things. Like, look at faxes was on there, right? So if you look at that list, the loan officers with the most responsibilities generally do the least amount of production, right? And it took me a while to understand that, right?
Mhm.
When I had my list, I had everything on that list. Like Becky, my second assistant, she didn't have anything on her list. It was all Dave. But as I progressed, and if you look at my list now, I have a very short list. Like, I'll be honest with our listeners, I haven't run AUS probably, I don't know, 16, 17 years. We moved from Mortec, which is a pricing engine, to Optimal Blue. I've never even logged into Optimal Blue. Um, I now that we switched from Calyx to Encompass, I don't know how to do cost sheets. I don't know how to run credit. I don't know how to do any of this stuff. And that's okay because if I knew how to do that, it's like comfort food. I
Yeah,
would fall back into it and
getting your
I'd
own.
start doing it to feel busy. Now, some days I don't know what I do. I mean, I work all day. I work regularly 8 to 12 hour day without exception, plus weekends, because that's just how I'm wired. But I'm forced to make phone calls and do things that are uncomfortable because I don't know how to do anything else. And I'm not
And
suggesting what's that?
and because no one else is gonna do that. That's the stuff that's your superpower.
Yeah,
That's where you make the magic happen.
yeah.
The other stuff you can farm out.
No,
And
I
the
will
other
say, I
they
will
don't
say,
wanna make the phone calls.
yeah, yeah. And I will say, the loan officers listening, our listeners, like, that's a gradual process. Like, I've seen people, like, just one day, like, I'm out. I'm not doing anything. Like,
Mhm.
call me if you need me. Like, it doesn't work that way. Like, you gotta number one, you got to build up to the volume to do that. Number
Yeah.
two, you have to have a team in place. And my team, I have a I have the best team right now than I've ever had. They're awesome. Like, I'm going to Chile for 2 weeks in January, and I'm not worried about it at all. I have no anxiety about it because, quite frankly, me out of the way, my team sometimes performs better because I'm not, like, hovering over them. Um, so it's just, Tom, you say something a lot. It's, you build trust by little promises kept, right? That's how this process goes to scaling and building a team. It's just little by little, you trust in your team, and you let go a little bit more and more. Do they lose transactions because I'm not involved? Yes, 100%. Would we lose those transactions if I was involved anyways? Probably.
Mhm.
So it, they're going to do a better job than me a lot of the times as well,
Mhm.
because oftentimes I get in the way and I just don't have the time.
What's call coverage look like for you? What's your hours of operation out there that you advertise?
So I used to advertise 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on the weekends, which was way too much.
Mhm,
That's now on the weekends we're 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. with the understanding that if something comes in earlier before 10 a.m. that's on fire, I'll handle it. You know,
mhm,
admittedly, if I can actually do it, it's usually a phone call. And then in the evenings, it's till 8 p.m. And I used to have that coverage till 9 p.m. And I thought that was too much. I mean, on the weekdays, if something rolls over till 8:30, someone from my team may grab it if they're looking at their computer. But if it's after 8 p.m., generally that can roll over to the next day.
mhm,
And if that's not okay with my agents, then I'm probably not a good fit. I think I've shared this story on this podcast before that I had an agent, like, I don't know, she texted like at 10:30 or 11 p.m. on a Sunday, and I didn't get back to her like the next day. I was kind of a jerk about it. Like I texted her back at 5:30 a.m. when I got up. And she's like, I expect my LO to be on call till like midnight when I need him. I'm like, I'm not your guy. And I think that was one of the last times I spoke with her.
mhm,
Boundaries. Boundaries are very important.
Yeah, and they're sexy. Like there's nothing. She's like, why didn't you get back to me? Like I was sleeping. Like I was
mhm,
literally not conscious. I was sleeping. So that's why I didn't get back to you. Um, but if that's someone's expectations, that's not someone I want to work with. And nothing's going to get done at 11 p.m. on a Sunday, anyways. So
mhm,
So setting those boundaries and having your, office hours, your availability, I mean, that just tells people when you're open for business. Have you had other people give you heat about that, or are people pretty respectful to say, "Okay, I'll catch you tomorrow?"
I mean, the fact that we're open for business on the weekdays from 6 a.m., right, to 8 p.m., that's 14 hours. We're good. And
Yeah,
then, like 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on the weekends, I mean, if anyone has expectations beyond that, I mean, with emergencies aside, I mean, that's pretty reasonable expectations.
yeah. And we're East Coast time, so it's not like that's Pacific time and someone's trying to get to you on you're East Coast time, so you got it all covered.
Yeah, and I've had clients like, "Hey, I need to talk to you early in the morning before I go into work," like, like a surgeon or something. Great, let's pick up a call at 6 a.m. That works for me. So, like, I will accommodate. I don't ask my team to do crazy stuff like that, but I will accommodate stuff like that
mhm.
on one-offs.
What do you
And then
think how many people do your per how many loans does it take a new person, when you are growing, obviously you're doing 10 loans, you need, one person is your how do you see that growth go? When to add the next person along the way?
I think when you're on a run rate of like 16, 17 loans, right? Because in the beginning, I was involved in like what I would do would be like, all right, I got Joe Smith, Justin Donahue, John Tice. I got like these 15 people. These are my people. I'll take them from start to finish. Becky, you got these 7 or 8. Like, call me if you need me. And then
Mhm,
it kind of evolved where I wasn't taking lead on any of the loans. But when you get your first assistant, you're going to be heavily involved in the transactions, right?
mhm,
Um, you're going to be talking to a lot of customers, and your loan partner or assistants can be doing a lot of stuff in the background. So I think you're generally good with one assistant until 15, 16 loans. And then when you want to step away, I mean, I don't know. It depends. It also depends, Tom, right? And how difficult your loans are.
sure,
Yeah,
sure, sure. How difficult the loans, referral partners, how the loans come in, all that speed of need to turn around, the market conditions, a lot of things factor in there.
absolutely.
Nowadays, you're nurturing, it used to be you'd get a lead and you'd go under contract in 30 days and you close them in 30 days. And now it's, you got customers you're nurturing for, 1 to 2 years probably through that process at times.
Like I said, we're in a work years.
Yeah. You mentioned your team. You're very still involved with the file, and your team's doing a lot of things kind of behind the scenes. I think you were referencing doctor nurse and that setup.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that a little bit and how, you know, how you worked from got to doctor nurse, how that setup went, and how you even moved out of that ultimately.
Yeah, that's a great point. So that's probably one of the best ways to get started off, right? Doctor, nurse. And essentially what it is, picture an assistant as a nurse. I'm the doctor. Um, Again, none of these ideas are original. Like we took these from different coaching groups. Um, but essentially is my assistant takes the first call from Rachael, uh, has an initial conversation, gets all the information, kind of like the grunt work out of the way. Like name, date of birth, serial number, rank, social security number, address, all that stuff, and maybe starts even gathering docs, right? Puts the entire file together, and then I schedule a call. So it's kind of like the nurse coming in, getting all the information, doing a ton of legwork, and the doctor coming in, reading the chart, and having a 5-minute conversation with you.
Mm.
Obviously, it was not a 5-minute conversation. I'd want to stick with the customer 15, 20 minutes, review the application, build rapport. But at least at that point, 90% of the work had been done.
Right.
I got all Rachel's information. I knew exactly what she was looking for, down payment. We've probably pulled credit by then, got W-2s, pay stubs, um, et cetera. And then I could come in and look like I was heavily involved in the file, even though my assistants were doing a lot of the legwork. Um, Something else that I had a really hard time letting go of. Like if I'm talking with Rachael, right, and she's married to Tom, and Rachel's an attorney, and she's making 200 grand a year. She's got a 780 FICO. Tom's a high school principal making 125 a year, perfect credit. They're putting 20% down, and their DTI's 12. I wouldn't ask for W-2s and pay stubs and bank statements. I would just take them at their word. And they sounded organized on the phone. And
Mhm.
we all know if we get someone on the phone, we get Bill and Sally, like Bill sounds half drunk, right? Sally's a total
Yeah.
scatterbrain,
Yeah.
like talking over Bill's shoulder. Their DTI's 49, their FICO's 650. I'm thinking, shit, I'm getting all their information because these people are not credible. But what I did with my team, because I was concerned about them making mistakes, was I would require them, I call it the 2-2-2. 2 years of W-2s, 2 pay stubs, 2 bank statements. And at first, I would review everything because I didn't trust them. But after a while, these are highly skilled people too. Like I took 2 really good processors and put them on my team, processors who could talk to customers and were quick on their feet. And I took other LPs that were trained with another system. So these are very highly skilled people. Once I got a level of trust with them, I will let them review it. So here's what happened. So I say I invented this, but I didn't invent it. We were so overwhelmed in 2019 that we would put my loans straight to underwriting, right? Which at the time was, I'm sure other companies were doing it because I did swipe it from someone else. But at the time, I thought that was kind of cutting edge, that a loan would go right from my team directly to an underwriter within the company. Um, because my LPs, my loan partners were putting together a really strong file.
Mhm.
Because once you have the 2-2-2, all you need is basically, an AUS run,
Yeah.
a driver's license, homeowner's insurance information, and you got a clean file. So that helped us survive 1920 in 2021.
Now, when you're in that doctor nurse world, I guess you were still pricing and locking your loans then, right?
I was, and what I would do is I would have my LP prepare the cost sheet. I would review it in detail, and then I would send it. And then after a while, I would review it in detail. I would have them send it. And then once I got a level of trust, I didn't even look at it. I just let them do it, and I
Mhm.
let them price it. Now, on competitive situations, I would certainly we'd look at the pricing in detail, and I would help them price it. But now, I let them run with the file. So Rachel calls into the team line as a borrower, or text or an email introduction from the agent. Someone just grabs it. I may chime in and say, "Hey, looking forward to working with you, Rachel. My team's awesome. We'll take care of you." But my team takes it from the very start to the very end, through post close, through a 30 to 60 day post close check in as well too. So oftentimes my customer never even speaks with me. They're constantly branding me. Dave asked me to call. Dave asked me to check in. Um, I'm
That's very
Everywhere.
important.
yeah, yeah, you always wanna be branding your team leader, Dave, 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 Dave. Now that we're talking, maybe we got away from that a little bit. Maybe we gotta bring that back up. Um, but I'm still in touch with, my agents on a regular basis on transactions. Now, some of my agents have inherited my assistants and go directly to them, which is okay, which can be somewhat dangerous, right? Because if Tiffany, she went to Scotland, that's one of my assistants for 2 weeks, right? I told her not to check her email, and she did because she's conscientious. So she was forwarding the emails, and she had an out of office on, but it's dangerous. I always want to direct people back to the team. Not that I want to be the circle of influence on everything. I just don't want anything to get missed. I want things, if it happens, if we sweat it, same way every time, then the realtors are happy, the customers are taken care of at a very high level, and stuff goes really smooth.
I've always really loved that idea of doctor nurse. It makes so much sense because you would never walk into a surgeon's office and the surgeon's there checking you in, the surgeon's there, taking your blood pressure and weighing you, and then being the one who's giving you the expertise. So this mindset is so important and sounds like it was the catalyst to get you out of everything and to grow and scale. I mean, I don't see how you could have done that any other way.
No, there's no way to scale. If you wanna do a lot of business, there's no way to do it unless you let go, trust in your team, and listen, when we hire people, like, uh, I haven't hired an LP for several years because I have such an amazing team, but we do personality profile test. I anguish over it. We interview them like 3 times. Slow to hire, quick to fire. If someone's not gonna work out the first couple months, you can usually tell. It's not like someone's gonna turn it around and become amazing. Um, that's always been my motto.
Hey Dave, go to the number 6, the focus on highest and best use, some of the talking points that Rachel gave in there. I think that, we talk about as you moved out of, locking loans and doing all that, your focus on your highest and best use and then, how team trust allowed them to shift from doing to leading it and empowering your team. And, um, I think you should hit on some of those bullets there.
Okay, let's go.
I can tee you up for that.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, along with the doctor nurse mentality, there is this tried and true term, the triad of awesomeness. And just because you can do it, it's a real term, it's a thing. Just because you can do it and you're good at it doesn't mean that you should. So you have to make sure that it fits into your highest and best use. So how did you really focus on what that highest and best use is? What fits in that triad of awesomeness for you? Because I'm sure that that's a hard thing to do.
Yeah. I mean, 20% of your activity, drives 80% of your results. So I needed to let go of anything that didn't drive revenue in the door. I needed to let go. Anything that was, say, less than $50 an hour, I needed to let go of because I could hire someone for that. Anything I wasn't good at or didn't like to do in relation to the mortgage, my loan origination business, I need to let go of it. Um, and when you do that, you have a much higher level of mental clarity, right? You're not bogged down with like, oh, I got to get the Smith file out today, and oh shit, I got to rerun the Jones file and add in 6 months reserve. That's just too much. That's all noise,
Yeah.
and you can get someone to do that. Um, but then you gotta hold yourself accountable, right? Every single day, you gotta bring it. You need the time block. You need to make time for those sales generating revenue activities. And you got to do stuff like that you're a little afraid to do. And you got to be the leader. You got to lead your team. Like we see a lot of loan officers who don't do a great job of leading their team, and they just can't break free from those day-to-day activities, the loan officer activities. So it's you know, read some leadership books and some growth mindset books before you dive into it.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't fit into that doesn't bring you money, you don't enjoy doing it, or you aren't good at it, farm it out. Give it to
Farm it
someone
out.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I want to be clear, this doesn't happen overnight, right?
No.
We've seen this a couple times. Someone gets an assistant, they're like, "I'm out. Call me call me next week." Like, you still that's actually when you need to work harder to get to that next level.
Yeah, you gotta
It
continue to justify it.
Yeah, yeah, you do, and you still have to do you can't become what I have overnight. Again, this took years, decades to get there, and a lot now, if I was a loan officer coming in today, I knowing what I know, I would set things up a lot different, but you almost kinda gotta go through those grind days to know
Yeah.
all the details and all the background and all the guidelines.
Let's talk about some of those different things today. I know it was you're still really good with phones and communication and touch points and things like that, but, we were always driven, phone calls, call 40 agents, and that's a lot of the industry's really shifted and how just the world shifted on how you interact and build relationships. Um, that's obviously, hold on one moment here. Um, s-
I think we can end it here, Tom.
well, hold on. We have to touch on the modern marketing, and I just extended myself a little bit more time. So when you look at, today, it's not just how many phone calls can you make. I know that you've done a lot of marketing things in your business and added modern marketing to the mix. It's not just that grit, pound out the phones. Talk about some of the things you've done from events to what you're doing from social media now, and how that's really gaining some traction with your team even further.
I need to be better, right? Um, I'm still being coached. I need to be better being the modern loan officer. But yeah, here in my core market of Pittsburgh, we do 4 to 5 events a year, couple lunch and learns, couple happy hours. I'll do like wine tastings and cooking classes. So you got to, and I've been doing that for a decade. Those are items that you have to do. Hate to say it, I need to do more videos, right? Hey, I've been doing some good videos, Rachel. Look at her frowning at me.
Yeah. I didn't
Uh,
this was all smiles.
yeah.
All smiles, and
So
you said it, Mr.
need to
Holland.
do more videos, right? And I am aware of that, and I need to get better about. I mean, I do post twice a week, right? I need to get better, more core business on LinkedIn with posting, and I try to do one family post a week on Facebook and one business post, but definitely need to get better on social media. And I probably need to engage my realtor partners more. And something I've been very bad at is engaging my past customers more on social media. So those are all things I know I need to do. I send out like 4 mailers a year to past customers and to realtors. So I have that. But I'm always like, hey, listen, we're all work in progress, right? I don't think you talk to any LO, regardless of their production, that's happy with it. That's not how a lot of sales people, especially high performers, are wired. Like, I've not been happy with my production the last couple years, and I'm gonna try to change that in 2026. So, working on my business plan, working on my team. It's always a work in progress.
For sure.
Um, but I think the market is shifting a little bit. The tactics I used to use are not as successful as they once were.
Mhm.
Um, there's more teams, like more high producing realtor teams, which can be harder to break into, as opposed to like just your average, single agent.
Mhm.
At what point, Dave, did you bring on your own marketing team? You had added Corinne. I'm sure you've done events on your own and little things throughout the years, but what was the point that you said, okay, I really need a department to handle certain things?
Yeah, and let's be clear for our listeners. I don't have an entire department. Our company has an entire
Mhm.
department. I guess I had someone who was like a junior person that helped me with some events and marketing. However, what happened was once I got busy, I co-opted her and she started doing loan work for me and got licensed and still did marketing on the side. But I brought her in because I needed more help with like the loan work. So Corinne started with me in April of 2020 during the depths of COVID. And then I guess Melanie, geez, when did Melanie start? Do you know, Rachel?
I think shortly after Corinne had
Okay.
started.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So she was kind of a junior. Now she runs our entire events department. So,
yeah,
and I kind of had the framework set up for the events, right? Locations, what I wanted to do, but I was bad at it, right? Like sometimes I'd have like an event and like email people out 2 weeks before. It was Mickey Mouse hour because I got too busy. Uh,
yeah.
and now we have a whole cadence and a rhythm. We tested things. So again, we're not perfect at that either, but we have it pretty dialed in. Yeah. I mean, with the loan officer, like in today's business, it's tough, right? Because you're expected to be like really good at loans, right? Really good on the phone with customers and have emotional intelligence and empathy, market to agents, right? Market on social media, and then like do video and then throw in events. Like,
There's a lot.
yeah, it's a lot for people to do. So I think every loan officer um, needs a company that embraces a lot of that, right? When you get to a certain point production level, whatever that point is, that you get a licensed loan officer to help you, that you have a marketing team that wants to work with you, not against you. I mean, shit, we talk to loan officers on a regular basis where the processors don't even chase conditions, right? I mean, just at the basic fundamental level, you need a processor who's on your team that will help take your file from when you drop it off to close.
Mhm.
Some people don't even have that. Um, so if your company's not offering that, there are a lot of companies who are. And that's what a loan officer needs because it is so competitive and
Yeah,
it's
you
only
can't
gonna
do
get
this
more
alone.
competitive.
You can't do this alone. You have to have resources you can lean into and people you can rely on to
Mhm.
be able to grow. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Good stuff there, Dave. Good stuff today. Um, you guys want to wrap up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, hey, to all our listeners, it was great chatting with you today, or chatting with you about my
About
journey. Yeah, let's do it again.
chatting with you about me.
Yeah, my favorite subject, me. I think it's a great place to wrap up, guys. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
you've
Great
given us
talking
a lot
today.
of food for thought and a lot of, I'm sure people's wheels are turning.
And we do get a lot of messages here, like post podcast. So if you do have questions, all of us are willing to take a call. We'll talk about what's working here, what's not. Um, love you guys to subscribe. So please hit that smash. Please hit that. Please smash that subscribe button, as Robert always says. Now, this is the lending leadership with the mortgage pros, but this is kind of like some like hybrid Frankenstein version because we got Rachel on. Is this like the creative
Welcome, Rach.
brief? What's that?
I said, welcome, Rachel.
Yeah, welcome,
Yeah.
Rachel. So,
I made you guys. I
yeah,
made you the mortgage pros.
made us the mortgage pros. All right, we're gonna end it there before we screw it up. Thank you, everyone. We got some cool stuff coming up for 2026, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
everybody.